This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, May the 8th. Well, he's deceased, but this is a cautionary tale about training camps, NFL training camps, and when they are being held and under what conditions. So he may not be a famous player, NFLer, unless you are a Minnesota Vikings fan. But Korey Stringer was a great offensive tackle. He was born May 8th, 1974 in Warren, Ohio, and attended high school and all that, winning the state championship. Stringer decided to stay at Ohio for school and went to Ohio State University, being part of the football team from 92 to 94. He had some very big name teammates who went on to NFL prominence. Orlando Pace, who was the number one overall pick by the St. Louis Rams as an offensive tackle. Eddie George, who was a good running back drafted by the Titans organization. And Robert Smith, who was a good running back for the Vikings. He was a consensus first team All American. And then the 95 NFL draft happened. He was eligible for that. And he got in as an offensive tackle. Jacksonville took Tony Poselli, an offensive tackle, second overall from USC, their first ever draft pick. He was the second offensive tackle taken. He was taken 24th by Ohio State. One pick after my Pats took Ty Law from Michigan. So anyway, he was a standout and all that on the offensive line. He got the Pro Bowl bid in 2000. In 6 seasons, he played 93 games. It was well liked inside the locker room and out. After a Vikings game, he actually helped a fan change the flat tire. And he actually signed over his Pro Bowl check to a youth football program in Warren, Ohio, in his hometown. So, anyway, it was weird and all that. So he was good at 6'4", 345 pounds. He was great. Unfortunately, things would turn for the worse. So anyway, the second day of preseason training camp for the Vikings, Stringer had heat stroke. He couldn't complete the first practice session, July 30th, due to exhaustion, and did not take part in the afternoon session, but would fail to return for the morning session for July 31st. He would vomit 3 times and completed the morning practice on July 31st, which lasted 2.5 hours, and walked to an air-conditioned shelter after the session when he was weak and dizzy. Mike Tice, future Vikings coach, well, he was an offensive line coach at the time, stated he did not witness Stringer vomiting and that Stringer didn't exhibit any symptoms of heat-related illness. At 11:30 a.m. when practice ended, the heat index rose 99 Fahrenheit. It would peak later at 110 Fahrenheit or 43 Celsius. He was taken to a hospital. His body temperature was 108 Fahrenheit or 42 Celsius, so 108, which was really high. Stringer would be unconscious from the time he was admitted till his death the next day, August the 1st. He died of organ failure resulting from heat stroke. So big as it was, the Minnesota Occupational Safety Hazard and Health Administration, or MNOSHA, investigated Stringer's death and cleared the Vikings of responsibility. Good on the Vikings, they got lucky. The vice president of the Vikings met with the officials alongside the team's athletic trainer and equipment manager. Under the governing labor laws, the Vikings would only be held liable if it was proven they were negligent or inflicted intentional harm. Anyway, the autopsy confirmed Stringer was not taking supplements. The Vikings had a defense to a planned lawsuit saying that Stringer's locker was through dietary supplements, which was kind of wrong and all that. So anyway, the Vikings would retire his number 77 during halftime of a game with the New York Giants in the 2001 season. So he was so beloved they decided to retire his number. right there and there. Stringer's widow would file a wrongful death lawsuit against the team and trainers. All that. There was a suit against the NFL that was filed in July 2003 and was resolved by January 2009. The only disclosed term of the settlement was that the NFL will support efforts to create a illness prevention program. And his widow also brought a lawsuit against Rodale, the manufacturer of the pads and helmet. However, a federal judge did determine that Rodale had a duty to inform Stringer about the equipment contributing to heat injuries and all that. Stringer's death brought about major changes with heat stroke prevention throughout the NFL. His death also addressed complications of players to bulk up to over 300 pounds. Stringer was 6'4" and 335 pounds at the time of his death, was the lowest weight he was in his pro career. Football teams would now train in light color uniforms. Water and shade are readily available, and a team doctors at practice sessions at all times. Korey's wife, Kelsey, with a K, would honor her husband's legacy by creating the Korey Stringer Institute, a non-profit organization housed at the University of Connecticut to prevent the sudden death of sports, including exertional heat stroke, EHS. So that was just humongous and all that. However, Korey Stringer still will be a Vikings icon and still will be a cautionary tale for practicing in heat when you're doing preseason stuff, and especially with the fact that NFL training camps happen in late July, early August, as opposed to like basketball, baseball, and hockey. But baseball is like February and March. Basketball and hockey are pretty much September, October. And outdoors, of course, too, for the NFL. It was just a cautionary tale. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond, a dude.